Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today I'm bringing you 3 new easy recipes, and it's so funny because I put these recipes together and filmed them on 3 separate weeks, and a lot of the ingredients are the same, but they're all 3 completely different recipes. So make sure you look down below before you leave, because I will leave all the ingredients listed below in case you want to write it down or come back to it. If you're new here, I would love to have you stick around and subscribe. My name is Mackenzie, and I put videos out on my channel like this every single week. Every Sunday we have a cooking video. Most of the time it's yummy crock pot meals right now just because of the weather, and I'm just hoping in South Carolina it gets a lot cooler than it has been lately. So I would love to have you stick around for that. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. But with that being said, let's jump right into this video so I can share some of these yummy recipes with you guys. Okay, so today's recipe is slow cooker chicken burrito bowls. So easy. You're just gonna need some long grain rice. You can use white or brown rice, whatever you choose. You're gonna need 1 packet of taco seasoning mix. You're gonna need some chicken broth. I would usually go with the low sodium option. You're probably gonna need a little bit more than this. That's why I have this water over here, just because you have to completely cover the chicken breast. So yes, you're gonna need about 3 chicken breasts. And since I don't have low sodium, I don't wanna add any more chicken broth, so I'm just gonna add water. You're gonna need some corn, and then you're also gonna need some black beans. So the easiest part of this is you can cook it on low or high. We're gonna do high because, you know me, I like to roll out of bed a little bit later. So you're not even gonna need your rice or your beans or your corn right now. We will come back to these about midway through. So I went ahead and plugged in my crock pot. I'm gonna put it on 4 hours for high. Okay, so the first step is just sticking your chicken breast in the crock pot. Then you're gonna add your 1 can of chicken broth. And if you've been around a while, you know that I still use a handy dandy handheld can opener. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and pour that in. And like I said, you want to make sure your chicken is completely covered. And since 1 can won't do it for me, I'm going to do the rest in just regular water. And if this is not enough, then I'll have to add just a little bit, which looks like I'm going to. Next up, you're just gonna come in and add 1 package of taco seasoning mix. We're just gonna stir this around and let this cook on high for about 2 hours. I'll always leave the recipe written out down below so it's easier for you to come back to. I'm gonna be honest, since I have a little bit of chicken in there that's still peeking out, I'm probably gonna have to come in about an hour through and mix it up. That way we have all cooked chicken, but I'm gonna go ahead and pop the top on it now, and we should be good to go by the time I go pick up the girls from school. All right, so it has been about 2 hours. And we are going to check on this. It looks like it's ready to add in our corn and our beans and our rice. It smells so good. I love the smell of taco seasoning. Anyone else? All right, so first we are gonna add 1 can of black beans, but you are going to rinse and drain these before you put them in the crock pot. Okay, so next you're gonna add this corn, but I'm gonna drain it because you only want to add 1 cup of corn without the juices. And then after that, we're gonna add in 1 cup of long grain rice. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and stir this all in together, and we are going to cook this for another probably 1.5 to 2 hours. And it is done when the rice is done cooking. And I will say, if you get done cooking this and your rice is done and you still have liquid in the crock pot, I would say to let it still cook on high, take the crock pot lid off and just let it continue to cook, because you want to get all those juices out of there. But other than that, that's all you have to do. We're gonna let it cook for another 2 hours, and then I would check on the rice periodically. That way it's getting cooked evenly. All right, so it has been about the full 4 hours, I would say. And I'm assuming that most of the rice is cooked. The chicken does still need to be shredded up. It's looking so delicious. So since there is still some liquid in here, I am going to let my crock pot sit on high with the lid off. That way the liquid starts evaporating. And I think I'm going to just shred up my chicken with 2 forks inside the crock pot. You could take out the chicken breast and do it on a cutting board, but I don't feel like dealing with all the extra mess. So I'm just going to take a little bit longer and do it with 2 forks. But while I wait on the evaporation to occur, we are just going to let it cook without a chop. Okay, as you can see, I have came in and I have let it cook on high for, I don't know, probably about 20 extra minutes. And that way the juices will kind of evaporate out. Now I am going to shred up the chicken. I want to add in here, I was multitasking and I let the time get away from me, and I did let my rice cook a little bit longer, so make sure you keep an eye on that so your rice doesn't get mushy. Okay, now I have shredded up my chicken for the most part, and you could actually use this as a filling in like a tortilla wrap. But I'm just gonna do bowls right now because I'm trying to avoid as much carbs as possible. But you could also add cheese to it or whatever you want to. But this is a super easy, quick meal, and I cannot wait to have a bite. I know the girls are gonna love it too. I love when I can make a good crock pot meal that my girls will love. Okay, so tonight we are making Cajun sausage and rice skillet. You're gonna need a pepper, some black pepper. You're also going to need some paprika, some oregano. You're gonna need chicken broth, well, you need about 1.5 cups of chicken broth, so that's why I have 2 cans out. You need onion powder, garlic powder. You need diced fire roasted tomatoes, and then you'll also need some smoked sausage. I actually ordered beef, but they substituted turkey, so that's what we're gonna use, and then just get some long grain white rice. And by the way, this recipe calls for like measurements, but I'm not so sure I'm gonna be measuring because that's how we cook around here. You shall see. Okay, so the first thing you wanna do is just cut up your sausage into whatever slices or size you like. This is what size I like to cut mine into. After you have all of your sausage cut up, go ahead and add some olive oil to a skillet and put your sausage in the skillet and go ahead and start letting that cook up and brown just a little bit. Once your sausage has browned for a few minutes, you can add in your diced green pepper and then let that saute together for a few minutes. Next, sprinkle some paprika. Okay, next up I'm going to add some oregano, and like I said, I'm not going to measure, but I will leave the correct measurements for you down below. Next up, garlic powder. Then your onion powder. Add in your black pepper and then your diced fire roasted tomatoes. Once you stir all of that together, you're then going to add 1 cup of rice and 1.5 cups of chicken broth. While I'm opening my chicken broth, I had to know, like, do you guys still use a manual can opener? Once you're done adding all of those ingredients, just put the top right on the skillet and let it cook on about medium-high heat, stirring occasionally until everything is thickened up, and then you have a yummy, delicious dinner. Alright, so on today's menu is going to be 1 pot cheesy vegetarian chili mac and cheese. So you will be needing vegetable broth, classic olive oil, chili powder, black beans, pinto beans, kidney beans. You're also going to need a can of diced tomatoes or rotel, tomato sauce, elbow macaroni. You're going to need about 2 cups, and I will tell you guys measurements for everything as I go along. You can put however many garlic cloves you want in it. I'm going to put 4 because we like garlic around here. It's just happening. You're going to need some frozen kernel corn, and then you're also going to need about 1 cup of sharp cheddar cheese. So that's what we're going to be using today, and this is also a 1 pot meal, so super, super easy. All right, so you're gonna go ahead and take 1 yellow onion and go ahead and dice that up, along with dicing up your garlic cloves as well. Go ahead and turn this on low, and I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of flour and 2 tablespoons of chili powder. Then I'm going to continue to saute these all together and let it kind of coat the pan. Now I'm going to drain and rinse all 3 types of the beans and then put them in here. So we're going to do the kidney beans, pinto beans, black beans. We're gonna go ahead and give that a little stir together so the beans don't start sticking to the bottom of the pan. I have cut the heat off for now, but it's still on a warm burner, so we're just gonna mix those together for a second. We are going to add the can of Rotel. And this is gonna help dissolve any of that flour that was not already dissolved in the pan. I'm gonna give that a little stir as well. I'm going to add a 15-ounce can of tomato sauce. And again, this is going to help it kind of dissolve some of that flour that did not dissolve all the way. I'm gonna turn my stove back on at this point. I feel like I have enough liquid in here. I will be adding more, but I feel like I have enough in here to where nothing's gonna stick to the bottom of the pan if I keep it on a lower setting for now at least. I'm gonna add 1 cup of frozen kernel corn to the pot. Then I'm gonna add in 2 cups of vegetable broth. And then 2 cups of uncooked macaroni noodles. And then you're gonna stir to combine all of this together. Oh, it's already looking so delicious. I cannot wait. Okay, so for now, I'm gonna turn my heat up to medium-high, and I'm going to bring this to a boil and put the lid on it, but you're gonna have to stir it every 1 to 2 minutes. That way the noodles don't stick to the bottom of the pan. All right, so once you've got your food or your chili to a boil, you're going to turn it on low and let it simmer for about 12 to 15 minutes. And you wanna stir this pretty frequently so it will not stick to the pan, so just keep a close eye on it. Okay, so once your pasta is tender and your chili is thick and saucy like this, you're gonna go ahead and add your cheese, and you are going to stir until melted. And you're supposed to add about 1 cup of cheese, and I think that's about how much I had left in that bag. So you're just gonna stir this all together until it's melted up, and it will be completely done and ready to serve. And it looks so delicious. So this is what it's going to look like when it is all done. Oh, it looks so good. I promise you, your family will enjoy this. This is the 2nd time we have had this, and I never follow the ingredients to a T, but it always turns out great. And if you want, you can actually go ahead and add some of these Santa Fe style tortilla strips to your chili. That's what we like to do around here, and it's so delicious. All right, guys, thank you so much if you made it until the end. I appreciate it. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new and you want to see more recipes every week. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.